Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, Lord. At that time, Jesus came to Jericho and intended to pass through the town. Now a man there named Zacchaeus, who was the chief tax collector and also a wealthy man, was seeking to see who Jesus was. But he could not see him because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree in order to see Jesus, who was about to pass that way. When Zacchaeus reached the place, Jesus looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for today I must stay at your house." He came down quickly and received Jesus with joy. When they saw this, they began to grumble, saying, "He has gone to stay at the house of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Behold, half of my possessions, Lord, I will give to the poor. And if I have extorted anything from anyone, I will repay it 4 times over." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation came to this house, because this man too is a descendant of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost." The Gospel of the Lord. Do you like the story of Eleazar? Well, that was overwhelming. Do you like it more than the story of Susanna that we hear on the 3rd Monday of every Lent? No, you like that one better. Why? In a way, it's the same story where the characters are kind of on the other side of the street. The reading here is a beautiful reading, really. I like the reading. It inspires me and challenges me, like in my old age and in my gray hair, in its dignity. Can I persevere to the end and be faithful to the commitments and promises I've made in light of the grace of the Lord our God? We could probably use several thousand more men and women like this, could we not? We could. It's a bold thing, but I don't know. I suppose the social dynamic of culture and society, probably not too many people like Eleazar, although they're there. You know, sometimes people do that. Sometimes they do it in a certain rigidity. It's like, no, if I don't do that, God's going to get me. That's not the same thing here. Eleazar, I presume, at least thought about it. No, I'm not going to put up with some pretense. He believed what he believed, and he allowed it to encompass his whole being. He didn't so rigidly keep those laws. Oh, no, I'm not going to mess it up now. I'm 93 and I don't even buy green bananas, so I'm not messing this up now. I didn't give up that pork all my life for nothing. No, it's really his whole life, his whole being, because he could have got out of it. But it must repeat at least 3 times that he did not want to give poor example to the youth. We need a lot more people like that, don't you think? I do. It's an inspiring reading. Do you like the Zacchaeus reading? It's a nice reading. I like the reading. Be aware. I think this is it's a real reading. It's not a parable. I think it's a true story. It only exists in Luke. It's not in the other Gospels. But I think it's a real encounter. It's not a parable. But just to maybe jump ahead to the punchline, is there not a Zacchaeus in every one of us? So you get this short, bald, fat guy. You can use your imagination. You've heard me say that before. He's not only a tax collector, he's the chief tax collector. He's a big poopah. He's a big guy there, you know. And yeah, now think about it. He has really more than anybody in his culture and society. He's wealthy, he can have whatever he wants. But he knows his life is off track. He does. Who knows what his life and family is like if they themselves had not left him. He feels the resentment and the envy that people have toward him because his own people, the Jews, if in fact he's stealing, it's their money he's stealing. Even after he takes the money to give it to the Romans. But the point, of course, is that he wanted to see Jesus. Those are powerful words. Do you want to see Jesus as much as Zacchaeus did? Well, no, Father, I'm Catholic and I go to church. I mean, I kind of know Jesus. Not really the same thing, is it? Is it? He wants to see Jesus. Because there's something in him, I think by the grace of God, is yearning and longing to reconnect with his true self. And not what we typically call the false self, the self-made self. Maybe he forgot how he got the job, but I forget. I don't think that happened. He probably remembered exactly how and when he got the job and how he worked so hard to become the chief tax collector. But he knew that he left the better part of himself behind, and he's feeling the weight of that. He wants to see Jesus. Now, interestingly, Jesus also wants to see him. Zacchaeus feels or perceives there's something in Jesus that might be an answer to his inner tension. Jesus feels that. As I've said before, God is an opportunist, and this was a rich opportunity. So in the same, well, probably not the same way, but Jesus similarly is longing to see Zacchaeus in an immediate way. It's an interesting question, an interesting phrase. I don't recall Jesus ever really being in a hurry. Well, come on. If you want a healing, get yourself over here so I can kind of take care of this. But he says to Zacchaeus, son, come down quickly. Maybe he had an appointment in the next town. Because it says he only planned to pass through. He was on his way somewhere. In any case, it's really a minor point, but hurry up, come on down here. I'm going to stay at your house. When was the last time Zacchaeus received such a warm welcome and invitation? He felt ostracized, isolated, and separated because of his reputation. Probably the warmest thing he's heard in a long time. And so despite himself, he readily and quickly comes down and receives the Lord with great joy. Do you and I do that? Do we receive the Lord with great joy? I presume you do. And then, of course, the crowd, they're going to disagree and grumble. But Zacchaeus stands his ground, promising to give half of what he has to the poor. Anybody here do that? And if he's ever cheated anybody, he's going to give them 4 times more. That leads me to think he probably didn't cheat as many people as people thought he did. Jesus was not put off by his reputation or his sin. Jesus came to heal and receive sinners, especially those who are in fact actively seeking him. He didn't think, oh, God, he actually sees me. Wait a second, I can't see him. I'm not cleaned up yet. He's still willing to see Jesus. He goes. Wonder what they had for lunch. There's a Zacchaeus in all of us. Aren't each of us in our own way longing to see Jesus? In whatever great or small way, and for whatever reason? And yet we say, well, I should go to confession first. No, he doesn't want to see me because he remembers what I did, 28 years ago, whatever. Jesus isn't looking at our sins. He's looking at our souls. And he sees himself there. And he wasn't going to miss the opportunity to welcome and receive Zacchaeus. Think about it. If you're longing for Jesus, guess who's longing for you first?